Turret towers. In this video I will give tips about 3 types of towers. Open world, cave and underwater. I use a simple 16 by 16, 17 walls high turret tower design. With the roof it comes up to 25 walls high. A 2x2 core, with door frames going from the core to the cage. The first door frames are 1 up from the ground. This is to prevent berserkers from walking into my tower. On the bottom and top layer I also have door frames going across the towers, 3 walls from the corner. To keep this tower simple I only use stack ceilings for the floating Teslas and the fall drop generator. For most towers I use 2 fall drop generators, 1 on the bottom and 1 floating near the top. Just don't cheap out on the fall drop generators, otherwise the generators are so easy to drop. Let's start with open world towers. These towers can be outside of your cave, claiming a mountain or pillar, or for claiming a huge platform like King Titan, Snow Plat, or a snow ramp. Open world towers by themselves are not that strong, so never leave one alone in the middle of nowhere. Always connect your tower to Ling or Fortnite, all around your tower, all around your base, everywhere. It is very annoying to deal with and it's just a good way of spreading out your turrets and slowing down your enemies. Now this is all powered by the tower still, but you still want fall drop generators in your Ling. Especially if you have a bigger base, then you're simply gonna have Ling that is outside of the turret tower's generator. So just place or a floating fall drop generator or just one on the ground. And also this is connected to the tower. So if they drop every bottom door frame, it is still connected to the Ling, which will keep it up. A good way of making your Ling a lot stronger is by having dreadnoughts and Tylas on dino leashes. You could also only have the dreadnoughts on the dino leash and then the Tylas following the dreadnought. Next up is floating vaults around your turret tower. Now this idea comes from Smart. He's probably one of the best builders in Ark. His video about this is on screen right now. It basically stops mechs and dreadnoughts from walking into your tower, so that's really good. It is a bit expensive though, because you need tech cellar doors. They're a little expensive, but it's definitely doable. Then above the cellar doors you want thatch ceilings. So you want to place a ladder, a vault out. Want to place it like on this diamond shape. If you kind of know what I mean. Then place it on the diamond shape. Then skip this diamond shape and put it on the next. Skip this one, put it on the next. Skip this one, put it on the next. When you're at a corner, of course you skip this one, just go to the next. And when you place them all. Now there is a little issue. Like you can see, this vault was too much forward. You want to make sure the vaults that you place above the crack has to be a bit more towards the ceiling than the gap, otherwise they fall through. Just place a new one, it's not that big of a deal. It looks sick and it's very strong. It's a bit expensive, but if you can afford it, go for it. Also essential for your tower is every corner that you have here, small pillar. This area, small pillar. Like you can see, I already have it in every corner. But not just that. You can see these Teslas are connected with tech ceilings. What you can do to make this stronger is place random tech ceilings to other objects to of course make it a lot stronger. Now it's also connected to this part. So if they blow every door frame, blow these door frames, it still stands because you have these stack ceilings holding this up. About sky towers, I normally don't build them. A sky tower is normally not really worth it unless you can make it so they cannot fly above your base. And with that I mean if it can touch the border. If you're on like an early game wipe, sky towers are really strong because it forces them to fly high above your tower. And if they drop staggers from that height, they will take a lot of damage, especially since they don't have a lot of HP. Of course the next thing is spam. The best thing is to just complete these squares, and even better is cliff plat spam, because you want them to have to destroy some stuff instead of just dropping a big fall here and instantly being in your tower. You want a shit ton of spam and also the Ling, so they have to destroy generators, they have to destroy turrets before getting to the tower. And for aggressive dinos, like you got Yuti, which is great for scaring dinos, especially stuff like tech tappies, and sometimes you got like Carbos with Tylas getting whistled into your towers to kill all your aggressive dinos. The Yuti can scare the Tylas so it doesn't hit your tames. You got Reapers. It will make it very annoying for a Berserker to blow up your door frames if the Reaper is biting and spinning them. so they won't have to kill them first. It's not hard, but it's an extra step. You got tilers, of course, for the bleed damage. It's perfect. Outside of the tower, a lot of dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are so tanky, they do good damage. They're very annoying to deal with. And you could also have lightning wyverns. They're a bit easier to kill, but they're still very annoying to deal with. Every ceiling with the 2 Teslas on top of them, I would put one on volatile and one on bright, which is basically the stun. So there we have the top volatile, so here we do the bottom volatile. Then the top stun. Volatile makes it so the enemies get more damage. That's perfect. You don't want every volatile Tesla on players and tames. Why is it? If they throw in thousands of carbos and they come in later with stegos for the remaining turrets, whatever, all your Teslas will be soaked by then. So have a couple volatile Teslas on players only, but most you do want on tames. Now the beehive turret or the wasp nest, whatever. This one is really annoying to upkeep since like a full turret only goes for 6 hours or something, but that's completely fine, still place him. If you expect people to come, you have an offline timer, or you're simply getting attacked, then you can fill these. If you fill these then, they're gonna be good for like 6 hours, which is fine. About the ground turrets, half of the ground turrets I put on players and tames, half of the ground turrets I put on players and mounted creatures, a bit of heavies on players only and a bit of techs on players only, especially the high up tech turrets, but a couple on players only. And also having 2 plant X on the tower, all you need is flame arrows and the plant X are gone. But how many people carry flame arrows to a raid these days? Not that many, especially not late game. So have like 2 plant X, one here, one there. It can slow and blind enemies. Cave towers. Now this can be extinction skylight, sunken ceiling, or honeycomb, whatever people call it right now. A lot of spots on aberration like service entrance, platforms, and even outside of shadow cave. Now back at skylight. If you look from this angle, it doesn't really look like a tower, does it? But it's a normal tower. But instead of having a roof, I just put pillars all the way to the top. Now cave towers are OP for a good reason, especially if they're not in 6 times damage locations like skylight or sunken ceiling. You can connect these towers to the roof, which gives them an extra snap point. Even if your enemies drop the whole bottom tower, the rest will still stay up. I do say this is a pretty bad cliff plat placement. It would have been nice if it was like against here or something, because preferably you don't want any place where the enemies can land like this. This is actually really bad. I just fucked this up and I didn't want to replace the whole tower, but try to make it so they can't land here. Can do if you did place it wrong like this. Yeah, is some door frames like this. And if you do have a place like this, you want a lot of turrets looking at it. Even more than this. Yeah, so here I got 3 generators. I got one all the way on top on the cliff plat. I got one in the middle. Fod drop. If you can fod drop the top one, do it. I just can't here, there's not enough space. And of course fod dropped on the ground with an extra force field. Especially since this is extinction. What I did is just place a normal tech ceiling. Place a small pillar and just place the force field on it. If you're kind of rich, you can just leave these here. If you're not rich, you can just place the pillar here and don't place the force field, or just pick it up after using it, and when you're getting attacked then you place it here. Another thing that you see is that it looks more like a wall than a tower. That is because in places like this you just extend the door frames, so racers and stegos whatever cannot just walk past it without blowing anything up. That's why I also want ground turrets here on players and mounted creatures. And just like the overworld tower, even in places like this you want to place ling. So continue with these squares and just keep going out, place ling. Make it very annoying for them to walk through. You can place Reapers against the door frames to make it annoying for Paraces to destroy them. That's why here I have a lot of Reapers and also Udis against the door frames. And of course, a lot of Tylers in here. Dreadnoughts and Tylers at the front. If you link this all off, you also want door frames there to stop races. So they have to go through multiple layers of door frames or pillars or gates that you placed, whatever. It will take a lot more time for them and your whole logs will be red before they get to the tower. In a place like this on Extinction, you do want a decent amount of tech turrets on all targets. So instead of turrets that you would have had on players and tames, just put them on all targets. In this particular spot at Skylight, you can actually place a beehive turret. I would definitely do this every time we get attacked in our Skylight that was Rhinos close. And you can exactly place one over here. You cannot place one back there. I don't know why, but that's just a specific for this specific spot. If you're building in a cave, you might also have these ledges. You also want to defend those. Place some Reapers on it, or just place a shit ton of spam on it. Also behind your towers in the caves, a lot of spam on the walls. If someone all dives past your tower, you don't want them to be able to set up somewhere. That's why you want ling all throughout your cave, turrets everywhere, spam everywhere, just so that doesn't happen. The best is cliff plat spam. Also, if you play on PC, what a good thing to do is, not after your first tower, but like Skylight is gonna have a lot of towers. So let's say the second or the third tower. You can see it's a bit smaller here, so we're gonna do it right here. That's also the best place to place your towers, where it's like a bit smaller. Place this giant wall. It's a big wall. It looks stupid, but trust me, against stuff like speed hackers and that stuff, this actually works pretty well. And you have like a tower right here. Then on the other, I'm just gonna break one. You can of course have a door, but I'm not gonna do that. Then another tower right here. So on each side of this giant wall, you're gonna have a tower. We didn't get speed hacked in for quite a while. We got meshed in next, but that's fine. Even then, have internals everywhere, spam everywhere, and you should be okay even against people that mesh in. Just don't have your loot like against the wall. What I also did, I got slightly less turrets in the back than in the front. Only slightly. Like you can see, only 1 Tesla instead of 2, but here it is the same. So why do I have slightly less turrets back here? It's because people are less likely to come from back there, but it's not impossible. Even if they don't, these turrets will still shoot to the front, so it's not bad to have back turrets. It's just I'd rather have a bit more aiming at the front than at the back. But don't forget the back, because then you're just building a wall, and walls are simply not as strong as towers, especially for defending your generators. Underwater towers. Underwater towers can be anywhere underwater, in front of you easy, in front of your rattle. I got 2 different ones, but they're kinda the same as well.
Same, but different.
You got the one just standing on the ground, and you got this one which is floating. I do have it connected, but it of course floats because of the many vacuums holding it up. But still, even though you always want to connect it. Let's start with the normal tower. If you place a underwater tower on the ground, you still want to place the foundations. They're gonna be really annoying to clear. So this is what I did with the vacuums. I put a 2x2 all the way up. Then I put this shape into it. It's kind of hard to see, so this is the shape. We have a 2x2 tower. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we just want to go all around. It kind of looks a little bit sus. So with the tower standing on the ground, I got foundations there and then the vacuums up here. Even if the foundations all get dropped, it will still stand here because of the vacuums. For a floating tower, you want the shape down here. Teslas you have to place while in a vacuum. You can see here we're in the vacuum. We can place a Tesla and then we can remove it and it still stays. And it still works. So you have to place a Tesla in the vacuum compartment because you can't place them underwater. Then you can just pick it up or you just leave it and flood the compartment, whatever you want. Now, I do have ground turrets. Don't forget the ground turrets. Fall drop generator. And then up here a floating generator. And as you can see for the turrets are end snapped to the vacuum chambers. What you also want to do is connect these to the core, just like this. So they are snapped to the vacuum chambers and the core of the tower. Because if you only do the vacuum chamber, if they tech rifle it, then the turrets will drop as well. And now you have to drop the core as well. In your tower, you want every vacuum compartment to be flooded. Because if you drain them, you can already see a Megalodon dying. It's only one, I expected more. But what happens now is every single tame that I have in here, if it moves into the vacuum compartment, it will die instantly. So that would mean I can have 0 aggressive tames, which obviously is not good, you want them. So flood all the compartments. This is fine, you can have aggressive tames, Megalodons. In every corner I put a Tucson on a dino leash. Now they're kind of stuck in the corner, but they still have an insane amount of range, so that's good. Megalodons I just have floating around. Also baryonyx are very good, but of course you want them to follow a Tucson or anything. For the turrets, what you want is a lot more techs than heavies. Since rockets and people diving into it is less of a threat than above water, I have less heavies on my underwater towers and more techs. I still have quite a bit. I counted them real quick. I got about 20 heavies, a lot of techs and Teslas of course. Now of course underwater you got the basilos. And from what I remember on small tribes, mine was above 700k HP. That of course is very tanky. Basilos of course soak the best from above. So that's why most people would be soaking from above. That's why you want most turrets on here. Also why the vault drop is down there and not all the way up here. Because they're gonna attack from above anyway, so I'd rather have it a bit lower. And to make it harder, you want a lot of vacuum compartments. What you can better do is if you keep this pattern up, it will be very annoying for a Basilo rider to go above your tower and soak without swimming into your air bubble. Of course, you want to open them like these, but it takes quite some time to open a lot of these. But you want to spam this all around your base. Baryonyx can go in here and not die, because they can also be on land. That's why they're the best to have on aggressive and follow to something. If they go out of the tower chasing someone and they go in here, they're fine. They're not gonna die instantly like your Megalodons or whatever. So have a lot of this spam. And of course, this tower is way too close to the top. So you rather shouldn't put it too close to the top. Also because they can bring turret revs. So that would be very annoying. Not that they're gonna do a lot against the tanky underwater dinos, but still. Oh, and even underwater, you want a lot of spam. You just want a lot of these. But instead of the link that I showed you from the open world towers, you just want these and put a turret on some of them. And this one. I think you get the point. Just spam this all across everywhere. Just a couple turrets, because they're gonna be very annoying to deal with. Not hard, of course, they can just get attack Megalodon and rush these. And like rush some of the turrets and get rid of them pretty fast. But that doesn't matter, it's gonna take time and they're very annoying to deal with. Now, that was it for this video. I used a pretty standard tower for this. But no matter what tower you make, these tips will always help make the tower better and stronger. I am working on my own tower design, so it might take a little bit for me to finish it. Because people have already perfected towers, people that are far better at building than me. Thanks for watching. See ya.